So here are the sheep. Um, they're not even yearlings yet. A couple things we learned. These are Tunis sheep. They're endangered, so you get a little retribution for raising endangered sheep. Their wool, if you're into that, is worth more. A couple things we learned for pasture. We got about all this. You can see where the other corner is over there, and that goes back. Can't really see now that everything's kind of grown in, but they have about 2 acres to do their thing, which is very sufficient for 6 sheep so far. In terms of pasture, they won't eat anything wet. It's bad to eat anything wet. No alfalfa, anything like that. Go through water like it's going out of style. So we have water staged over there, here, and where they sleep. We pen them in when it's wet so they don't get bloat. That is a thing with sheep. You can't feed them sweet feed or anything like that. They're better with a whole grain type of non-crushed meal. They very forgiving with that. But going back to my pasture point, they go in the woods. They don't really like. I mean, they'll eat. You could see where they've been eating. Let me see if I can. Of course, when I'm doing this, I'm in Crocs, you know. But here's a good example. So see this tree here? This whole thing, from here to here, is all them. That's where they graze. They don't graze over there. They graze over here. I don't know. They like that taste, I guess. They'll eat the poison ivy and everything. But you see where it's bare? Like, that was all grown in, man. They tore that up. So they'll go to certain patches now and again. I found if you put the water where you want them to feed, they will go to it. You can even see here. Look what the hell they're eating, man. It's like they don't need pristine, mature pasture. But at the same time, you do want to give them hay. We do set up a little rain catch system for them, and I don't want to overfeed them either. So the days it rains, I feed them, you know, either crack corn or the bag stuff. Mix that with diatomaceous earth. Other than that, we didn't have to deworm them yet. We'll see towards the end of the season, probably in the fall, deworm them. Let me follow me around, like, because I am the bearer of food, right? Right. The other thing is repetition. So for corralling the sheep, I mean, now that they know me and everything, like, I don't have to worry so much. But they do make a Gallagher fence product. So if you wanted to change pastures, you could easily do that with an electric fence type of system. You can see where they graze though. It's not much. You don't need much in what you think. It's better to coordinate them all. So sometimes, my point being, instead of letting them roam this whole pasture, if you want to consolidate, you would split the pasture in quarters, right? You would quarter off. What are you doing? What are you doing? So you would quarter off the pasture so they have more concentration on a specific area. But the other thing is, so I fenced this in, right? But in retrospect, what I want to do is, if one slips out, you do want to have the option to corral them. So realistically, the next phase when I hit the fucking lottery is to fence them in, right? So if one does get out, it's gonna go that way. In terms of predators, I haven't really had a problem. You ever see a coyote every once in a while, but nothing really. I have more problems with the predators with the chickens than these guys. So other than that, relatively easy. I spray them with that there's like a tick stuff that that you can spray them with every once in a while. It's fine. And you don't really have to bathe them. You brush them every once and again. They probably could use another one, right, bud? Right. And other than that, just give them shelter. You know, we have a little shelter. We got a horse feeder in there that we use as a trough, and it also holds the hay, which I don't really have any hay yet, but you can see it here. Let's zoom in. There it is. There you see the hay's up top. And then what I did, because they're dumb sheep, they they like to shit where they eat. So I put a bar, I welded a piece of conduit across so they can't jump in the trough and shit all in it and ruin all the feed. So that actually worked very well. It was hard because everything was galvanized, so I tacked two conduit couplings and then ran a conduit to that. Just bent it, you know, rudimentary, you know. And see, look at the choice what we're eating here. Look, we got the whole pasture, and that's what we eat. So, but I really can't complain. We've been doing everything pretty well. It's just keep them watered. That's my thing. They go through a lot of water. Next step is put a rain catch on that. We'll catch some rain off of there, and that'll give us 500 gallons just for gotta water the sheep instead of building a pond, because this is all wetlands, and I don't like giving them rancid brackish infested water with God knows what and mosquitoes and everything else. So that's it. You know, a little vitamin B isn't bad, but you know, they don't seem to need it yet. I'm sure once they start lactating they will. And that's about it, man. That's how we're doing. And then like I said, Gallagher fence for an electro net, and then we can coordinate, you know, secondary pasture if we need. But this has been faring very well since the early spring, and we've been doing good with this amount of pasture. I really don't have any complaints, and just pen them in when it's wet so they don't get bloated. That's the biggest thing. And they like the attention like any other living thing, right? You know, you gotta give attention. So that's it, guys. That's a little update. Show you chickens next. What we learned with that. So I don't know if